In today's video, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that we see a lot that happen in group reformer classes. The first one we're going to start with is one of the spring choices maybe not being exactly correct. So you can sometimes go too light, sometimes go too heavy, and either one is not going to give you the effect of what you need. So the first spring we're going to use is going to be a little bit too light. As she starts to pull the arms back, you'll see the carriage kind of lag at the end. You'll see some slack kind of come into the rope up here. So if she's able to just kind of use the momentum of the spring instead of the tricep and into the lat. If I make the spring just a little bit too heavy for her, we'll see almost the opposite. See how she has to muscle it back from these upper traps to get the carriage to move it all. It's not the quality of movement that we're looking for. So I'm going to drop the spring a little bit to something that's more appropriate for her. Now we're able to get a full shoulder extension from the appropriate muscles. Triceps are working, lats are working. We don't have overactive upper traps, but we're also not seeing that same lag in the carriage happening. The next exercise that we're going to look at is half roll back, then into an extension to see what happens when clients are holding their breath through exercises and show you how the breath can actually help make the quality of movement a little more what we're looking for. On the exhale, roll all the way back. You'll feel your spine extend over the edge of the box. Now hold your breath here and still try to articulate up, do your best. And you see how it's kind of like a flat back pull where the spring is having to help pull her up. This time she'll add her exhale breath. So exhale, roll the body back. When you feel your back ribs touch, inhale here and let your head hang. On the next exhale, bring the chin to the chest, drop the ribs, and roll up through the spine to lift back up to tall. And we get a much better range of motion happening through the spine on that one. So the next common thing we see is using the spring tension to kind of create the movement for you instead of actually doing the push and the pull and resisting the springs in the way that we're looking for. When she goes ahead and presses the spring down, you'll see same thing, kind of slacken the range of motion. No effort is happening. She's able to just kind of like wave her arms around. If she's going to resist the springs on the way down and the way back up, here's what things would look like. Take a breath in here, and on the exhale, drop the ribs and reach up through the fingers and then all the way out towards the springs. Now keep the length happening as you let the arms reach back to the ceiling and keep the ribs connected where they are. Think of pulling the springs from the abs and then keeping the abs engaged as you lift the arms and reach back up to the ceiling. So the movement is more controlled, but then she's getting the muscle contraction happening on both the down and the way back up. So you can look for both concentric and eccentric work on that one. One of the last common mistakes we see is on footwork because people are anticipating the resistance to be super heavy. When they press out, their knees kind of lock and snap at the very end. The spring tension may not be right, or they may not totally know what type of muscle control they need to do the movement. Here's what it's going to look like as you press out, no control, your knees just lock, and then she just comes back in. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of tension for her. We're going to think of pulling down into my hand using your hamstrings. Take an inhale breath and press the carriage out. So you'll move with the inhale. Then on the exhale, think of dragging the heels to the seat to pull the carriage all the way back in. There's a full extension happening here using her muscles. So she's not just pressing out to a locked knee with no control. She's got hamstrings and quads working, and then a little bit of glute for the hip extension. And then as she pulls back in, the eccentric is happening, little concentric on the hamstrings. Much better quality of movement without putting this knee joint in any amount of danger.